Well, I'm going to just start with the very first paragraph of my book, Keys to the Kingdom, Reflections on Music in the Mind, which was written about 10 years of my playing with a good friend of mine, playing piano. She had a stroke in 2001, and she was a fine pianist before that. It was not her career, it was her avocation, and as the word avocation is, her love. She had a beautiful grand piano, and after the stroke she could no longer play. And I started getting together with her, and slowly we began to play together. And I would play the right hand, and she would play the left. But she is still severely disabled. 10 years later, we still play every week. And as a matter of fact, before I got together with you, I called her the other day to tell her that I was going to be coming down, because we normally play on Fridays, so we'd be playing this afternoon. She can speak very well when she wants to, in that she will speak to the heart of the matter. Like, she will say to me, sitting on the bench, "Why God?" And I'll sit there and I'll say, "Are you asking me why God allowed this to happen? Are you asking me, is that what I believe?" And she'll say, "Yes." And my answer to her is, yes, I believe, but I believe that God is that force that makes me more compassionate, makes me more understanding. God is not that force that prevents strokes. But she will ask me these incredible 2 to 3 word questions. The first one she ever asked me, we were going down to therapy, and she said to me, "Why did you come?" Just like that, as if she was reading a single word off each card. And I was driving the car, and I knew what she was asking me. She was asking me, why had I come to the hospital for the first time when we were just acquaintances, we weren't friends? And then, why had I continued to come? And I did not want to give her a glib answer, so I waited, and then I began to tell her, you know, what music meant and what friendship meant, and how already we had grown in ways that would never have happened, ever have happened, had she not had the stroke. That doesn't mean that you want to have that happen to anyone. But I guess I'm jumping ahead here, but one of the things that interested me about the press is its stress on wholeness, and what it means to move towards wholeness. None of us are whole. And in different points in our lives, every last one of us will be broken. Some of us will be broken terribly. But that does not mean that we do not then start moving towards wholeness. It will be a different wholeness, but it still will be a wholeness. So over our 10 years together, that's what we've been trying to do. So I'm just going to read the very, very first opening of these essays, which are written about our experience together. A note at a time, a measure at a time, haltingly, full of forgetting, remembering, 1 piano, 2 pianists, only 2 hands. Where are the sharps, the flats? Are they black or white? Locate them up and down the keyboard. Start, stop. Which left-hand fingers can best play a right-hand arpeggio? Get tangled up. Take deep breaths. Adjust the arm sling. Begin again. Slowly the notes link, become music. And if there's one point of the book, it's that becoming music. You know, how can you take this halting, imperfect, rendition of a beautiful piece of music and make it music. And in the process, give back to Trina the ability to express herself. Because we're talking nothing less than that. We're talking the ability to express what is in her and needs to be expressed, but no longer has the way. No longer has the way we know of either writing your words or just the facility to speak easily. No longer the ability just to get up easily out of this chair and move to there. Certainly no longer the ability to do this on the keys or even to do this on the pedal. But if you heard us play, you would be surprised. You would be surprised. And so every week, that's what we do that. And it's lots of years now.
So I assume it gave you a lot of satisfaction to write the book. What was the effect on Trina?
The effect on Trina has been huge. I think, again, because it was a way of giving her a voice again. Obviously the music did that, but so did the book. When the book came out through Wising Up Press, all of a sudden she had a way of basically saying, this is who I am, who is a very different person than the very successful social worker, very beautiful, very well put together, worldly woman who she was. This is very, very much of a validation, and it's a validation of a new wholeness. So for her it was extremely important. We did a reading, I would like to say we did it together because she was there with her family. Of course she didn't read, but she was right up front. And we didn't play together that day, but what we did was we have a friend who has cancer, is dying of cancer, and a wonderful pianist. They're both pianists. And so we asked her to play some of the pieces that I write about in here. And so I would read one of the small essays, because these are a series of small, very short essays. They're almost like prose poems. So I would read one, and then she would play the piece that went with it. So we did this for about 5 or 6 pieces. And it was very, very moving. And it was moving to her because she was back out into the world. And it's hard to move into the world when you can't speak well.
Tell me how the book ended up with the Wising Up Press, what the process was.
Well, I was looking for a place to publish it. It's unusual. It's an unusual book. It was not, there's a lot of neurology in here, and a lot of medicine. I don't shy away from that. But there's also deep meditations on the nature of music, and also the history of music. People don't know, for example, that Ravel himself died of a stroke-like condition, which very much limited his writing music at the end. And his left-hand piece was written for another pianist who had lost his arm in World War I. So there's all this history around music. So I was looking for a place that had a holistic approach. In which healing, but a much broader concept of what healing is, was important to them. So that's how I ended up with the Wising Up Press.